What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, coming at you today with a little bit of an angry rant because, quite frankly, I am sick of anybody defending microtransactions. These things are downright evil. So what spawned this rant? Well, one of my favorite gaming journalists is a guy named Jason Schrier. This dude is arguably one of the most talented people in the entire business. He does great articles and great research, but recently, in a series of tweets, he decided to defend the idea of microtransactions, saying that they don't inherently make a game worse, and they're not necessarily evil. Well, in my opinion, Jason, they absolutely are, and here's why. So what we're looking at here is actually a new invention by Ubisoft. This is a program they call Time Savers, which is such a sickening term for selling you experience points, because that's literally what this is. What you're looking at is a new store that's just been introduced in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, their latest and greatest giant open world experience. Well, here's the thing, by actually spending real world money, you can get in-game cash to purchase better items, experience boosters that'll make it where every single time you kill an enemy, you get additional bonus points to make it where you grow and level and get stronger faster, and even blacksmithing materials to make it where if you want, and you're some sort of like spoiled rich kid, you could theoretically upgrade every single weapon instantaneously, skipping all sense of natural progression. So why does this annoy me so much? Because in my opinion, it ruins games. Systems like this are built not for fun, not for enjoyment, not to heighten player choice, as they always claim it does, but instead as a way to doubly monetize stuff, to make it where things are going to increase money at the cost of gating off fun. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of a conspiracy theory real quick, but I've heard some rumors behind the scenes that part of the reason that we never got a bigger, more expanded storyline in Mass Effect Andromeda is because right out of the gate, they wanted to try and put in as many loot crates as they possibly could into the multiplayer, which means that during the course of trying to write and design some really cool stories and quest lines and some good side content, they were simultaneously tasked with trying to create the most expansive online experience they could, which is funny because who here really gives a toot about freaking Mass Effect multiplayer? Don't get me wrong, it's decent. It's something that's in there that's at least noticeably interesting, but I'm not there for that. I go into Mass Effect or any RPG to see a giant expansive world that's going to blow my mind and challenge me to rethink different stuff. This is so annoying because I genuinely think that them focusing so much of their time on garbage multiplayer is part of the reason that that project and its team completely fell apart. They couldn't make the game good, they couldn't finish ironing out so many of the bugs like facial animations, and so because of it, the final product was so shoddy. You know, part of the reason I'm so freaking disgusted by microtransactions is because it's a method that works. More and more game developers are basically told by the publishers, their bosses, to shove them in any way they can, and that's why we're seeing more stuff recently like pointless day one DLC. Stuff like that is so annoying to me because it's just trying to get extra cash out of players who want to enjoy your game. You're trying to actually punish the people who are already on board with your game. I mean, look at the freaking controversy going around right now for Soulcaliber 6. This technically comes out in a couple days and I've gotten to play quite a bit of it. It's a really good, really tight game. But if you want to enjoy the full roster, it's going to cost you more than $60. Yes, you heard me correctly. By buying the full game, you're not actually getting the full roster. Because day one, there is actually a really interesting fighter completely locked out. If you want to play as her, if you want to fight as her, if you want to see her interesting, evolving combat style, you're going to have to swipe your credit card for secondary stuff. If you think that stuff's not going to keep spreading like the cancer it is, you're out of your mind. Because, quite frankly, we have now seen the rise of, unfortunately, a new business model. You know, a lot of times when people thought about microtransactions 5 years ago, it was usually pertaining to free-to-play games, and most specifically, cell phone experiences. By picking up your phone and playing something that was really lighthearted and easy to understand, you could monetize a community just by paying for extra points, more turns, or cosmetic stuff. And as a small experiment, they started introducing this into different multiplayer games on consoles. And unfortunately, it took off like wildfire. So now, game developers are trying even more to try and introduce new styles of microtransactions and even small DLC chunks. Like, I know a lot of people are really upset about this, and personally, I'm still a little bit on the fence. But Spider-Man, you know, that game is a masterpiece. It's easily, in my opinion, the greatest superhero game ever made. But some people are a little bit upset that they were very clearly finished with the downloadable content before the game came out. I mean, even a full month before it was released, we saw extended trailers detailing what the season pass would have in it. And you know what? It's not extremely expensive. It's a little tiny thing. But clearly, they're looking for ways to sell you extra missions on the side of a full game. I'm so freaking mad about this because I feel like it's just going to end up holding back games overall. You see, when these things happen, they're not by accident. If you have a lot of microtransactions in your game, in order to be profitable, you need to begin designing them into the game from the ground up. That's why you see stuff like, well, Fortnite. Obviously, Fortnite started out with the idea of being a free-to-play game, and once they introduced the Battle Royale aspect of it, it literally made hundreds of millions of dollars just by selling you skins. But other things have tried this as well. I mean, I hate to really throw them under the bus because I think that they're trying to improve, but Call of Duty Black Ops 4, for all the stuff it does to actually make the combat more fun than ever, is still incredibly freaking annoying when it comes down to the fact that they're definitely going to be rushing selling you as many map packs as possible. But on top of that, they're also trying to sell you a season pass right up front for more Day 1 DLC. There are certain maps in the Zombies mode that are locked out unless you're willing to pony up extra money. This is stuff that undeniably is on the disc. It is on-disc DLC that they want to try and nickel and dime you for. And you know what? Increasingly annoying on top of that is the fact that they're definitely going to be introducing Cosmetic Crates later on. This is at its heart what is truly despicable about microtransactions, is that they don't just stop when they have enough. It's always about trying to increase the amount of money you can make off every single player. Call of Duty isn't happy selling 100 million copies of the game at $60 each. They also want to sell you $50 of season pass content and also microtransactions on top of that. You know what? I'll say this, and I'm sure it's a little bit of a controversial statement, but this is part of the reason I am so annoyed about the argument of it's just cosmetic, because it's such a slippery slope. So many of these companies started out by trying to experiment in tiny ways with very, very small choices. Little things that would cost you $2 or $4, but eventually stacked up into really big profits. And a lot of times this starts out as completely free or very, very cheap cosmetic only stuff. I mean, a big reason that we probably don't have Dead Space 4 is because the microtransactions in Dead Space 3 completely killed it. Now, maybe you don't remember that, but in that game, you could actually upgrade your weapons by waiting a certain amount of time. You'd basically put in the parts into a machine, it would synthesize them, and then when it was ready, ta-da, all of a sudden you have a new weapon. But, of course, there was a secondary option, which is the fact that you could, if you wanted, actually spend money to instantly upgrade any of your weapons. This system is something that I feel like needs a name because it is so toxic, and I'm going to call it progress with a price. And I feel like the line between paying for maps, paying for costumes, and paying just to try and upgrade your character is increasingly becoming blurred. They are trying to do anything to maximize how much you spend on every single game. And this is why, personally, I don't let that stuff slide at all. I still feel like you are trying so hard to expand on your game and make $60 experiences cost $80 or $100. And I don't like it. even reading about this stuff in Fallout 76, which is a game I do think might be trying to do things in a more correct fashion, where there is going to be a ton of microtransactions, but A, they're supposedly just going to be cosmetic, and B, it's going to end up making all the downloadable content later on completely free. Small prices, big reward. Is it worth it? I still don't think so, but I guess in the future we're going to see if things manage to get a lot better or a lot worse. But what do you think about this? Are you somebody who's on the fence about the idea of how evil this stuff is, or are you with me and agree that all downloadable content needs to be amazing and all microtransactions need to freaking die? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Alright. Man, you know what? I am enjoying Call of Duty a lot, but as soon as they start putting weed skins in there or something, I'm definitely quitting. Oh, hey. I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.